environmental conservation and biodiversity. The most adverse effects of environmental pollution are witnessed by living organisms. You might have definitely observed some of the effects of environmental pollution on living organisms in your area. Our Mother Earth is embellished with a lot of diversity. It includes innumerable number of plants and animals. You might have noticed that some animals and plants that your grandparents might have mentioned while narrating stories of their childhood actually are not seen today. Do you know who is responsible for this? We, humans, directly or indirectly are majorly responsible for this. Wrath of nature is also responsible for this, but to a much lesser extent. Due to individual and genetic differences among species, diversity among living organisms and types of ecosystem, variability is seen among living organisms in a particular habitat. This is called biodiversity. Biodiversity can be classified into three types. Come, let us discuss each of these types in brief. Genetic diversity. Genetic diversity is the variation among the same species. For example, variation seen in human beings. The species involved in reproduction have genetic diversity, and if these variations are reduced, then gradually the species will be lost. Species diversity. Species diversity is the variation among the species in an unit area. It includes different types of plants, animals, microorganisms, etc. Ecosystem diversity. Each region is made up of several ecosystems. An ecosystem is formed by interaction between living organisms and their physical environment. Every ecosystem has its own compositions of plants, animals, microbes, and abiotic components. Thus, we can broadly distinguish ecosystems into two main types, namely, natural ecosystems and artificial or man-made ecosystems. For the prosperity of living world, the positive role of human being is important. We can play different roles, like of a conservator, that is a person responsible for the repair and preservation of things of environmental interest, organizer, guide, or a plant friend to protect and conserve our environment. Sacred groves. Sacred groves are groves of trees kept reserved under the name of God. These groves are preserved by the society itself and not by the forest department. These places are protected in the name of God. This type of forest is not only confined to the Western Ghats, but they are spread throughout India. About 13,000 sacred groves are reported throughout India. About 2,820 sacred groves have been documented in the state of Maharashtra. Each of the sacred groves are dedicated to one of the deities. Now, here on this chart, some logos related to environmental conservation are shown. Can you guess the meaning of each of these logos? Come, let us see what each of these logos mean one by one. Logo number 1 stands for Solid Waste Management. Solid waste management refers to proper handling of solid waste materials right from its generation at the source till its disposal. Solid waste management is necessary for preventing environmental pollution, for energy production, to reduce strain on natural resources, and to maintain the environmental balance. Logo number 2 stands for Green Energy. Logo number 3 stands for Sustainable Transport. Logo number 4 stands for Save Water. Logo number 5 stands for Save Water. Logo number 6 stands for Reduce, Reuse and Recycle. And logo number 7 stands for Renewable Energy. Considering today's scenario, there is lot of emphasis on conservation of biodiversity. Come, let us quickly enlist some of the measures that need to be taken to conserve biodiversity. 1. Protection of rare and endangered species. 2. Establishment of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. 3. Declare some of the forest zones as biosphere reserves. 4. Launch special projects for the conservation of some species. 5. Conservation of plants and animals. 6. Follow rules and regulations regarding conservation and protection of biodiversity vigilantly. 7. Record the traditional knowledge. In this chapter, we have discussed about the acts and rules regarding environmental protection and conservation. In our society also, several people work together for environmental protection and conservation. Several organizations are also working on this at national and international level. Come, let us name a few of them. Non-governmental organizations. Bombay Natural History Society, Mumbai. CPR Environment Group, Chennai. Gandhi Peace Foundation Environmental Cell, Delhi. Chipko Center, Tehri Garhwal. Center for Environment Education, Ahmedabad. Kerala Science Literature Council, Trivandrum. Bharatiya Agro Industries Foundation, Pune. Vikram Sarabhai Community Science Center, Ahmedabad. Environmental organization at international level. International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is IUCN, Gland, Switzerland. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, Geneva, Switzerland. United Nations Environment Programme, Nairobi, Kenya. World Wildlife Fund, New York. BirdLife International, Cambridge. Green Climate Fund, Songdo, South Korea. When we are talking about environmental organizations, how could we forget Greenpeace organization? Greenpeace is the world's largest organization engaged in environmental activities, with more than 25 lakh people from different countries as members of this organization. Greenpeace states its goal is to ensure the ability of the earth to nurture life in all its diversity, and focuses its campaigning on worldwide issues such as climate change, deforestation, overfishing, commercial whaling, genetic engineering, and anti-nuclear issues. We all know that conservation of environment is carried out at different levels. According to the level, the role of individuals are decided. Here are some of the roles that you can undertake to do something for our environment. Among these, which role would you like to play and why? If you ask me, I would like to promote, because it is very important to make this movement of environment protection and conservation a mass movement. Until and unless this does not reach to the masses, effective changes would not be visible. Hotspots of biodiversity. There are about 34 regions throughout the world that are recognized as biodiversity hotspot. Earlier, these areas had occupied about 15.7% area, from which 86% have been lost. Nowadays, only 2.3% of the hotspots are existing. It includes 1,50,000 species of plants, which is equivalent to 50% of the original number. In India, out of 135 species of animals, 85 species are found in the forest regions of Northeast. About 1,500 endemic plant species are found in Western Ghat. Out of the total plant species in the entire world, 50,000 are endemic. 3 heritage sites that are in danger. Western Ghats. Western Ghats that ranges over Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala is in danger due to activities like mining and extraction of natural gas. As a result, the habitat of Asiatic lions and bisons is also in danger. Manas Sanctuary. Manas Sanctuary has suffered tremendous loss in terms of biodiversity due to dam constructions and overuse of water. As a result, tiger and rhinoceros of that region are under threat. Sundarban Sanctuary. Sundarban Sanctuary is reserved especially for tigers. But today, the tigers over there and also its environment is in danger due to activities like construction of dams, deforestation, excessive fishing and digging of large pits. Yesterday, I was just turning the pages of a magazine and I came across few extinct animals and plant species of India. The Indian cheetah, Sumatran rhinoceros, Indian aurochs, pink-headed duck, Kerala legume tree, and Nilgiri holly are some of them. We all know that one of the important reasons for biodiversity decline in India and all over the world is overexploitation of plant and animal species. Overexploitation leads to reduction in the number of certain species of plants and animals, while others become rare or endangered and sometimes even extinct. Species which are in danger can be divided into 4 categories: endangered species, rare species, vulnerable species, and indeterminate species. Either number of these organisms is declined or their habitat is shrunk to such an extent that they can be extinct in near future if conservative measures are not implemented. Example: lion-tailed monkey and lesser florican, that is 10 more. Number of these organisms is considerably declined. Organisms of these species being endemic may become extinct very fast. For example, the red panda and musk deer, that is Kasturi mrig. Number of these organisms is extremely less and continues to decline. Continuous decline in their numbers is worrisome reason. For example, tiger, lion. Indeterminate species are species that seem to have reduced in number because of some of their behavioral characteristics like backwardness. Not much information about these species is available. One example of this category is the giant squirrel. Today, preservation of forests and wildlife is a big challenging task before us. Several organizations are working for this. World Wildlife Fund, that is WWF, published a report in the year 2008. According to this report, since about 35 years, that is 1970 to 2005, about 30% of wildlife species have become extinct around the world. If this continues, the fauna of our world will be in absolute danger. As a result, anything and everything that is related to the fauna will also be in danger. Gradually, existence of life on the earth will be a severe issue for us. Do you know? International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is IUCN, has prepared a red list of endangered species all around the world. The pink papers in this list includes the list of endangered species, and the green papers include the list of earlier endangered species which are now out of danger. Always remember and act accordingly. Destruction of trees lead to destruction of human race. Let's do afforestation and conserve our environment. Forest is our wealth. Environmental education is value education. Frugal use of paper is a mean to control deforestation. Environmental conservation is a route to human progress. Pure air and pure water is the key to good health.